Maitreyi, I have a question. Already know the answer, obviously, but I have to ask. Team Ben or Team Paxton?
Wow, this is so hard. This is so difficult for me. Oh my God. I'm struggling. Team Davey, obviously. I'm starting my Team Davey revolution, okay? The Team Davey revolution is a thing now.
Loophole.
It's all about that self-love, okay? She has too much to unpack.
Well played. Well played. They told me like I was one of the first people officially cast on the show, which I found to be really interesting, especially because we didn't do any chemistry reads.
Yeah.
But then when we all met at the table read, it was like, how did they know we were just all gonna mesh? Mindy's like a Jedi of casting.
Honestly, like matchmaking friends, like here you go. You guys will all automatically be friends, guaranteed.
And we were.
Mindy casted all of us so perfectly, but like, I know for me, I see a little bit of myself in Davey, and I know like the rest of the crew see a little bit of themselves in the character. But how much of that like do you relate to with Paxton, or do you relate to like another character more?
You know, it's interesting. I can relate to Paxton in the sense that he's a book judged by his cover. And that was something I dealt with a lot in high school. I was a jock, never went to one party though, never had a sip of alcohol, never did anything like that, like the typical high school experience. But in terms of like academically, I was a lot more like Ben and Davey, to be honest. I was like a straight A student. I was doing extracurriculars. There was so much stress on academics for me.
I feel like if I met Davey, like when I was in high school, I might have been friends with her, but I would have just been like, bro, you care so much. Stop. Relax.
Chill out.
I was like nowhere near as boy crazy. I never like cared like I'm gonna do this in grade 12, I'm gonna do this in grade 11.
You didn't map out in an Excel sheet how to rebrand your acquire a boyfriend?
I didn't. I sadly didn't, and I didn't run the probabilities of, you know, losing my virginity. Sadly, no.
Well, opportunity missed. I'm sorry I keep mentioning this, but it is like a big thing. This was like your first role, and it was a huge take on, and you absolutely crushed it. And I say that a million times to everyone. But any moment that you felt, especially that you had like this amount of pressure on you, or just got nervous, or felt you weren't bringing it enough, what moments did you have like that on set?
I think constantly in my brain, I was always thinking like, bring your A game and nothing but your A game. Like so much to the point where like, you know, the ADs on top of my mom, all of them were like making sure I was eating and making sure like I was taking breaks. And if Tristram or any of the directors, if somebody wasn't happy with it, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna get it till everybody is okay with it, right? But I don't think I ever felt any weight of like, oh my God, this is so much for me to handle, because I had you guys all supporting me. You guys all had my back, and you guys never made me feel like I was being an inconvenience if I ever messed up. You guys never made me feel bad about it.
You can tell them if you want what I said to you when I pulled you aside and changed your life.
No, you can do it. You know what? You can do it, because it sounds better when you say it. It's so much more like if I say it's gonna be like, well, Darren basically said this. No, when you say it's more like it hits home better, bro. Because
you like to say it sarcastically. Therefore, it sounds like...
Yeah, I say it sarcastically.
I saw Maitreyi one day, just kind of, it was a long day. Like, she was there, there was more demanded of you than anyone. I mean, you were there like 12 hours a day, like 5 days a week. Things seemed to start getting to you, and I just wanted to, I pulled you aside, and I was just like, hey, if you ever have a moment of doubt, if you're ever feeling like you're not meant to be here or you're not doing things right, just realize that Mindy didn't doubt you, Universal didn't doubt you, Netflix didn't doubt you, Lang didn't doubt you, none of the directors doubt you. So if you're doubting yourself, you're kind of insulting them. So let's not insult them, because you're meant to be here, you're here to stay, and you're kicking ass. And then,
I should have said it sarcastically. Oh my God, you're making me tear up now, so stop. Oh my God.
Okay, you sobbed. I'm sorry, I didn't say it dramatically enough. You sobbed. Moving on.
This is why you say it with sarcasm. It makes it easier. This is why I say everything with sarcasm. It's a coping mechanism.
So you cried. Great.
I didn't cry this time. Okay, we're making progress. So how about you? Like, when did you feel like that pressure or like nerves?
My character being part Japanese with, Yoshida as the last name, that was a last minute addition where Mindy and Sal and Lang heard me speaking in Japanese with Yuko. And they were like, hey, you're Japanese? I was like, yeah, part. They were like, you speak some? I was like, yeah. Like, do you mind if we make your character Japanese? I was like, oh yeah, awesome. Like immediately. And then I was like, oh crap. I was so scared, like, you know, the Japanese community or like part Japanese community, Asian American community was going to look at me and be like, this is the guy they cast for that role. Like, he's not this enough, you know? Because I know looking at me, the first thing you think is not Japanese. So I was just really wanting to portray that honestly and do it well and make it believable, because that is my heritage. You know, my mom was raised very Japanese, and that was the household I grew up in. And that was a lot of pressure, just hoping that I did that right and didn't catch flack from the Asian American community. That's kind of like what the whole show is about, though, in a way. Everyone's struggling with this identity. Like, am I this or am I that? Should I be this or should I be that? So I think once I really fell into that, it seemed easier to me. You know what? I'm representing a population of America, though, that I don't think has much representation, you know? So it was kind of cool to take up that pocket.
Yeah, for sure.
Maitreyi, have you, from the amazing fans, have any like fan favorite picks for like a casting? Like any movies they want you to do, any characters they want to see you do?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people pitch me for Kamala Kahn. And I was like, you know what? After this whole journey of Never Have I Ever coming to where I am now, it's the smart move to say no, because I'm not Pakistani Muslim. How hypocritical of it, like, would it be for me to even try, really? If there was a Tamil superhero and they weren't casting some Tamil girl out there, that would suck for me to watch. So why would I want to do that to another community that equally deserves representation?
It's a valiant move, you know?
Let somebody else shine. I'm sure if Mindy can put an open casting call to the world to find me,
yeah,
I'm sure other producers and like directors, you know, creators can do the same thing and put in some effort to find somebody who really truly fits the role, right? But what about you? Any dream casts?
There's the after fandom has like stuck with me a lot through this. As you know, like before I did.
Are you still pressing on?
After fan base is diehard loyal. Anna Todd just came. The author of the book, we've been talking on Instagram, and she's like, I've been keeping you in mind for a lot of things crossing my desk, and there's this one project I haven't actually read it yet. And I don't know if I'm even allowed to talk about it, but something she sent to me saying she could see me in. So maybe in that world. And then now that I have Marvel coming out on May 27th, they finally announced it. I have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming out. There's been a lot of people talking about something in the Marvel universe. I'm totally up for that. I am 100%. That would be sick.
Okay, if we get a season 2, if that happens, what would you want the characters of Sherman Oaks, what would you want to happen to them?
I've been talking about this a lot, and I think it'd be a really interesting power dynamic or like role reversal in terms of like Daveys been pining after Paxton all of season 1, trying to win his heart, trying to find out ways to make him like her. And Paxton has never had to deal with chasing after someone. Things have always come so easy to him. And now he's put in this position where he may have missed the boat. You know, now you may have something with Ben. So it might be interesting just seeing like, you know, Paxton out of his element, trying to find a way to make you like him again, or feeling like, wait, am I enough for her now? Like, I don't really know.
Sure. Question though, Davy being Davy, in season 2, when we return, will she even acknowledge what, you know, her kiss with Ben?
I was
like, right? Like,
I was gonna ask you, because everyone else has been talking about that moment, and I'm like, they're like, are you team Ben or team Paxton? And I'm like, look, I can see both, but one, Ben has a girlfriend when he kisses you still. There's still that girlfriend.
She is the other woman.
But also, I felt like, and I want to ask you this, what do you think as the character? Do you think in that moment it was just such a vulnerable moment that you had just dumped your dad's ashes, you had this crying session with mom, your adrenaline's up, like everything's going, that like Ben's sitting there and he stayed. Do you think it was because it was Ben that you kissed him, or it could have been almost anyone that was there for you in that moment that hard?
I think it's a mix of both. Right? So all those things happen to her, and it's like definitely the adrenaline rush, because also the whole, you know, journey of them getting to the beach, that was really, like, you know, hyped up. But I also think if you look back at like episode 1, and every single episode, the one person that actually stays consistent through the show to Davy is Ben. And like even that first, the first scene where Ben says like, oh, I can tell something else is bothering you. And sure, he gives her like a backhanded compliment. But even still, like, it was sort of always there, that, subtle care. But I feel like with Daveys, though, her behavior, I wouldn't be surprised if she goes to like Fabiola and Eleanor and is like, what? I didn't get this. Ben?
Like,
Ben?
brushing my teeth because I don't know what just happened.
Personally, for me, and this may be cheesy to say or whatever, I want Davey to like learn the lesson of loving yourself. Like, I can't stress that enough because it's so important. And it's not something that you only deal with in high school. It's something that people deal with their entire lives. And not a lot of people actually truly love themselves and truly accept themselves for who they are. Davey most certainly doesn't at all whatsoever. Out of everybody in school, she probably thinks she's the biggest loser and that she doesn't deserve any happiness, like she says in the principal's office. So if she could learn how to love herself, that would be amazing, and just be her own best friend, while also being a good friend to Eleanor and Fabiola. I'm still mad.